What's up, guys? It's Canon,
It's Jessie.
and we are the Geeky Sane couple, and we are back with another video for RWBY Ice Queendom. So, it's been about 24 hours, I'd say, since the trailer dropped. You know, the fandom is reacting in many ways to it. And after soaking it in for 24 hours and watching the trailer a good few times, I think it's very safe to say, but I think we've known this from the beginning, really, that Weiss is probably the main source slash key of what eventually happens in this anime. Now, before we get to Weiss herself, I do want to go over something that I found on a website called Anime Geek, because there's a lot of people who are thinking that this anime is just Volume 1 redone. And that's not it at all. The website Anime Geek did receive a PR statement for Ice Queendom, and it confirms that the anime will establish the world of RWBY, meaning it's going to start off like normal Volume 1, before taking viewers on a brand new adventure that RWBY fans have never seen. So, I'm pretty sure that, like, all we saw in the trailer was probably, like, the first 2 or 3 episodes. Because that's usually how trailers for anime go. They show you, like, bits and pieces of the first couple of episodes, and everything deep into the show you don't see. And what they're probably going to do is they're probably going to go over the real important story beats of the early volume. Probably some changes, though, to set up the later story, before things just go completely AWOL. And of course, the fandom has many theories, as big as alternate universes, multiverses, to it simply being Weiss leaving Team RWBY and going back to Atlas. So we're going to go over why I think it may be the latter instead of the whole alternate universes. So this all started, of course, with this art for when it was just known as Team RWBY Project. And, like, it was very obvious from the beginning that Weiss is going to have a main focus in this story, because she was the first one we saw. Her dressed as Death, pretty much, on her throne with all these Atlas robots behind her, like it's her army. And so everybody was like, General Weiss, did something happen? Is this a version of Weiss that never went to Beacon? Blah, blah, blah. Which we now know, thanks to the trailer, that Weiss did go to Beacon, but things might change. So the first picture of Weiss we see in the trailer is this one. Now, of course, Beacon Weiss, especially in Volume 1, was very confident, very egocentric in a way. And this picture shows it. The confidence, kind of the ego. She's expecting to be named the leader of the team, which, of course, Weiss did in the original Volume 1. But since this is a 2D animation, they can show the expressions way more than they could in Poser back in Volume 1. And that's no knock on original Volume 1, even though Volume 1 is probably my least favorite volume. I think we did say it was our least favorite volume. But you just can't show a whole lot of emotions in those early episodes that you can in 2D animation in 2022. Also, it was confirmed that this project has been known for 4 years. So Eddie and Miles both kind of pretty much confirmed that. So yeah, we already get the setup that Weiss is expecting her name to be called as the leader. So we get this little thing right here, back here, with Weiss's reaction to RWBY being named leader. Now, in original Volume 1, she did react, but it was more of a shocked look, a surprised look that RWBY was named the leader. And this, she looks very annoyed, for
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. But the scene still plays out like it normally did. You know, Yang running over, hugging her, saying, "I'm so proud of you," blah, blah, blah. But yeah, very different expression from Weiss. Now, after that, we see this. Now, I'm guessing, because, you know, with trailers, they can play one scene, but then play another scene, and make
That
them.
would sync up and look like it went right after each
Yeah,
other. So,
but because like you can't see Blake on the other side of Weiss, but this might be the same scene, but who knows? But in the show, Weiss didn't react like this. She was shocked, but she didn't act this standoffish, this like annoyed and all that. So, like I said, it's really hard to say. It could be trailer magic. This could not be the same scene, but if it is, they're having Weiss react in a whole different way. Now, we get to see, they did show the scene of Weiss getting her scar, which was in the white trailer, so this has led many to believe that we're going to get the original trailers, but they're going to be shown as flashbacks, which is understandable, you know, because you kind of want to show a little bit more background for the characters. Is it me, but during the part with Blake, where it shows her reaching for Gamble and she's standing in front of that wall or whatever, it looked like the wind is blowing. Do you think that might be the train from the black trailer? She's telling Adam bye before cutting the train.
I don't know.
Because it didn't look like a scene that I could remember besides that one. But this really is just drawing more that the trailer is very Weiss friendly, and also the fact that the art of the general Weiss does not have the scar. So I don't know if that's what's that's what's flipping a lot of things around about what this really could be. Now the next one we see is this one. Now this is during the initiation program in the Emerald Forest when her and RWBY are arguing. Now in Volume 1, I really found their argument kind of comical because, you know, you've got RWBY going, "Huh, where," you know, and stuff like that. And they are just arguing like nobody's business. And in the original volume, RWBY does say, "I hate you." But in the volume, Weiss kind of just acts indifferent to it. She's like, "Okay, the feeling's mutual in a way." In this one, if it's the same scene, which I'm guessing it is, I don't think they would have played this scene if it wasn't in the same one. But when RWBY says, "You're so bossy, I hate you," Weiss gasps. She gasps and then reacts like this, which is different, very different. So like, I don't know if it's because RWBY said, because at this point in time, her and RWBY don't know each other that well. So it might be more of an internal thing. Like, it's the whole, you know, she's a schnee, so she's used to being done this, like, you know, people acting this way towards her, but maybe this Weiss is a little bit more sensitive to it in a way. I don't know. It was real. Like, this was one of the first things I noticed when we saw the trailer, was that she reacts way different than she does in the volume. Now, a next interesting thing, yes, I captured the one where it looks like Yang and Weiss are about to kiss, but this seems like it's the scene later in Volume 1 when they're looking for Blake. But here's the thing. They're full on, like, Weiss full on yells at Yang here. In the volume, they didn't really, like, they weren't really having an argument. It was more of a discussion. You know, you don't really care if we do find her, do you? And she's like, you know, the innocent never run, Yang. They don't really have a button heads argument in a way. They don't agree with each other how they're handling Blake running away. But the thing is, if you read the subtitles, it doesn't seem like they're talking about Blake. They're talking about Weiss. Because Yang says, Don't stay silent. Say something. And then Weiss just turns around, gets in her face, and yells, I don't know what to do. So this leads into one theory. Is this a version of Weiss that never accepted RWBY as the team leader? What if she never has that talk with Professor Port? And this is what this is about. Even though this is Yang's sister, she's telling her, if you've got something to say to RWBY about her leadership, say it. Don't hold it internally. And Weiss kind of just bites her head off in a way. Now, could the English translation be completely different? Yes, but it just seems like it's more about Weiss's issues than them looking for Blake, because it's a totally different conversation that did not happen in Volume 1. So what I think is going to happen is the first couple of episodes, like the first episode will definitely be like, we know that RWBY fights Roman's henchmen at the beginning, so episode 1 might be a cut and dry remake of episode 1 of Volume 1. But episode 2 might, just completely focus on the team getting built. Maybe some flashbacks, stuff like that. Because we don't know how long each episode's going to be. I'm guessing 30 minutes, around that regular episode length. And then maybe at episode 3 we skip some time. Like, I don't think we're going to get the Jean episodes. I don't think we're going to. And then it skips to this point where it's more later in the volume. Maybe the first 4 episodes. They might not be able to tell all that in the first 3, but maybe the first 4 episodes. But yeah, a totally different, if you ask my opinion, very different tone to this than it was in the original volume. You got anything to say?
I mean, yeah, but then again, this is just a trailer. Yeah, we don't know if this is all the same thing. There's not enough there to decide. So,
well, I'm mostly going off the subtitles and just how Weiss reacts. And so then we get the ending of the trailer. Now, it's hard to say, because I think, it throws me off, because a lot of people have said in the art that version of Weiss does not have the scar, but this twin, if you want to call it, has the scar. So I don't know if they just forgot the scar in the art or what. But here's the thing. Before we see this, we see the shattering of glass. So people have associated that with Mirror Mirror, because it was such a big Weiss song. So we've got theories going from, is this an alternate version? Is she seeing a different version? Or is this more of an internal thing? Is this more of an internal conflict that Weiss is having with herself? Because really, it's wild, because she reacts to it. So
her reaction to me still has me pointing towards seeing an alternate. Something happens to alter time. She's seeing an alternate reality in front of her. I don't think it's internal. Because of that reaction right there, that just tells me she's actually seeing something in front of her. So,
and it makes me wonder, the thing is, if you notice, it's a dark area, there's spotlights, so it's like she's back on that stage that we saw her on in the White trailer, it seems like. That's the only place I know it could be. So I think two things could happen. The alternate reality, just something just completely throws time off. Or just, it could be an internal thing. Weiss sees a different version of herself that she could be. She says, screw this, leaves Beacon, abandons Team RWBY, goes back to Atlas. And
then it wouldn't be RWBY.
Well, honey, you gotta wait for the rest of the story to be told. Because maybe that's why RWBY looks like a snowboarder. Weiss leaves, and RWBY feels like she failed as a team leader, and so she gave up being a huntress. Where with Blake and Yang. Like, Blake still throws me off. Blake's looks like 100% from a different timeline. But who knows? Maybe Blake and Yang stayed at Beacon and became hunters. Because Yang's outfit definitely looks like, in a way, a seasoned huntress, in a way. That's what her outfit screams to me. But who knows? I just... Is Weiss going to become a villain or an antagonist? We don't know yet. It's like that first poster kind of made it look like her sitting on her throne with her robot army behind her.
That's why I still think the alternate reality thing, like, this alternate her could be, like, what she could become if she left, and the alternate her would be the villain.
Yeah.
So...
But it's like, what could cause a time rift? That's the problem we're running into.
Something with Salem?
Maybe.
I think it'd have to,
they would have to introduce her way earlier than she is in the original show.
Well, yeah. I think, like, if it is Salem, then yeah, something's gonna introduce her, or something will point to her. Like, obviously, I still think that it would have something to do with Salem.
Because, like, a lot of people...
Magic, something causing a rift.
Now, some have been talking about us also seeing the events of Volume 2 and Volume 3, and, like, something happened during the fall of Beacon that causes this. I don't know if we're going to see Volume 2 and Volume 3. Because, like, that press release definitely says that it's going to set up the original story of RWBY, and then something 100% different that we've never seen happen. So...
Unless we get, like...
Unless there's a time skip.
Yeah, unless we get a time skip, or they start in Volume 1 and briefly continue to get to the Fall of Beacon, like, kind of, not rush, but, like, I guess you would, time skip's the only thing I can think of, like, in placements for important events, and then lead to that, and then something with the Fall of Beacon causing this. But I still think it's possible that Salem has something to do with this. Like, if it goes into an alternate reality, something she's done.
But do you think it definitely has something to do with Weiss, though?
Well, yes.
Because this trailer focused on her way too much.
Yeah, but I don't see her up and leaving. Like,
I don't know. Like, because, like, you gotta think about it. The biggest reason why she, like, yes, Weiss's true character turn didn't happen until Volume 4 in a way. But she did change during their time at Beacon. She did become softer. But she was still kind of bossy, still a little bit sassy during the rest of the Beacon arc. But before that talk with Port, she was on a warpath. So a lot of people are theorizing that she just doesn't have that talk with Port. Because if she didn't have that talk and him set her straight in a way, she would have continued. She would have continued being the way she was, not accepting RWBY as a team leader. And so that would cause a rift within the team if that happened. But, like, it's hard to say. I would call this first trailer a teaser trailer, if anything, just because it didn't show us too much. But I don't want them to show us a whole lot. I don't want them to show us everything in trailers before the show even airs. Hopefully we will get some new information soon. I'd say we'll get a second trailer.
For all we know, the black background with the light there could be trailer magic. Yeah. I've seen that too. Like, you'll see the same character, but the background, it's not shown in the trailer versus in the show itself. So, yeah. I mean, again, that's another thing with trailer magic is we could be seeing things, but the things behind them or around them aren't right. Like,
I think
we won't know until it happens.
I think what we can really definitely say 100% is that we're going into a 100% an original story that did not happen in the show. And just because of Weiss being the first one we saw, some of the things in this trailer, Weiss is definitely going to be a leading factor. We just don't know how it happens. It could be an alternate timeline. It could be as simple as Weiss just leaving. We just don't know. It could have something to do with Salem. It could be something else. Like, it'd be something if Salem is 100% ignored in this anime. But I don't think so. I think Salem might actually... I kind of want to see 2D anime Salem, so...
I do think that this, whatever this is, she could be the huge cause of it.
Yeah.
Because,
And-
mean, it would make sense for that. Though.
Yeah, because this anime, like, I think besides the beginning, is not really going to follow the main show. So you can do whatever they can do. Like, as long as Rooster Teeth is okay with it, they can tell what any kind of story they want to.
I have a feeling like since it's going to be a new original story that it'll continue into, they'll pull pieces from RWBY, but they're not going to actually use.
Well,
they're probably not going to use big chunks of things. It's just going to be aspects or like details from it and add it into this new storyline. Not like
because I think it's so because right now we don't know if the maidens are going to be involved. We don't know if the relics are going to be involved. You know, for all we know, this could be someone could have used a relic.
There's that too.
Yeah,
like,
and alter and like did something. We just don't know. That is the thing. We do not know yet. That's why theorizing is so fun. You make a theory and then hope that you're right in a lot of ways. But that's really all we have to talk about. You know, the trailer only dropped yesterday, so information will be at a snail's pace for a little bit. I think we might hear. Since it's going to be coming out in the summer, I think the next biggest thing we could hear is maybe the end of April into early May. Maybe we'll definitely get another trailer before then. Hopefully, we get to see anime Cinder, Torch, Roman, Neo. Please show us Neo. Penny, please. Bring Penny. You brought Pyrrha back. Bring Penny back. Please. And so yeah, I think that's all we've really got to go over. So yeah, we'll see you guys on Wednesday. There's a poll up on my Twitter. It might be done by now though, about what I'm gonna play Wednesday, and then Friday will be Fire Emblem. So hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button, leave us a comment, all that good stuff. Check our links and all that. I think you've redone the store.
Yes, the store has been still in progress, but the store has already undergone changes and stuff. There's still some empty things as far as in the shop, but that's because I was revamping the entire interface to make it a little easier to navigate.
Yep, so go check that out. And as always, guys, this is Canon.
This is Jessie.
We love you all very, very much. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.